The classic rock bootleg, those nefarious under-the-counter offerings. But what are the 10 best? Let's do this. The classic rock bootleg was always something a little bit mysterious, dangerous even, something you shouldn't own, which of course was the appeal. I used to live for record fairs many years ago, trying to swell my collection of Pink Floyd vinyl bootlegs, specifically from sort of 69 to sort of 72, their best period in my opinion. But those illicit recordings, I mean, some of them were just bloody unlistenable. I used to particularly like the Swinging Pig label. Trademark of Quality, that was another one. Now, of course, a lot of the better recordings are actually all officially available, but at the time it was like you owned something special, something for your ears only. Anyway, here are my 10 favourite classic rock bootlegs, and stick around to the end for a few honourable mentions. Number 10 is Jimi Hendrix live in New York at the Cafe A Go Go 1968. This has been one of my all-time favourites, specifically because it was recorded on March the 17th, 1968, the day of my birth. But this is historically such a fascinating item. Apparently Jimi Hendrix was recording late in the studio that night and fancied jamming out with a band. He took his guitar down to the Cafe A Go Go and hopped on stage with the band that were playing at the time. Apparently it was John Mayall and Friends. I mean, how awesome is that? And what you do get is a wonderful evening of Hendrix interacting with these musicians. I mean, as I said, the quality of the recording is hardly pristine, but it certainly has something. The highlight of the show has to be the version of Little Wing, which to this day is still perhaps one of my favourite performances. Number 9 is the Beatles and the White Album demos. I was obsessed with the White Album when I first discovered it, and these acoustic recordings, the Escher demos as they've come to be known, all now of course officially available in that wonderful White Album box set. I was mesmerised by the acoustic version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, which to this day is still my favourite version. This was a band sitting down and acoustically thrashing through their newest material mostly written in Rishikesh in India in 1968. Of course it also included A Child of Nature, which Lennon would then later reworked to be Jealous Guy on his Imagine album in 1971. But these recordings were so stark, intimate, and something beautiful about them. Number 8 is The Doors live at the Matrix.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day.
I went through a phase where I was just obsessed with The Doors. Most of the bootlegs I had just sounded bloody awful. And let's be honest, Jim Morrison was always, I mean, never mind Touch Me, I mean Touch and Go, more like. But these recordings were a notch above. They weren't audience recordings. Actually, better quality masters of these recordings have now been made available and have been released officially. This captured the Doors immersed in that dark psychedelia, their best material, and it includes Summer's Almost Gone, one of my favourite early Doors tracks, Unhappy Girl, with Raymond Zurich's swirling organ styles. Number 7 is Jethro Tull and Supercharged, live in LA 1973. Tull early performances are just sheer gold as far as I'm concerned, and this is a pretty good audience recording of the Passion Play tour. With Anderson in full codpiece and flute wheezings, this is when the band were at the top of their game. The band's sound, of course, about this time was beefed up with the inclusion of Barrymore Barlow on drums, who joined just before Thick as a Brick. But also John Evans is immense on this. His keyboards really shine through on this recording. Martin Barr is just brilliantly Martin, isn't he? These early performances with their surreal asides would have been absolutely wonderful to capture on film, officially that is. And I still live in hope that the 1975 Paris recording will be found, unearthed in some dusty vault, and released officially on Blu-ray. Number 6 is Pink Floyd and the Whole Hog live in 1977. This recording was it was either in Texas or Oakland, I can't remember, but it was a pretty damn good audience recording. There's another pretty awesome show recorded in New York and Berlin as well, which is why I found the Animals box set so disappointing. I'm pretty sure with AI separation and technology they could make a pretty good fist of these audience recordings and include them in an extensive box set of this period. And it's interesting the dynamics as Pink Floyd moved from sort of arenas to huge stadiums they were playing at this time, with Roger losing his shit at the audience. Of course, it's a very underrepresented period of this band's career. Gilmour probably finds it all a little bit too Rogery for his taste, but nevertheless one of my favourite Floyd albums and favourite tours. I would love to see them do something with these recordings. Number 5 is Bob Dylan and Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, live in 1978. The 1978 tour was seen as a problematic one for many Dylan fans, as these rearranged versions of his songs, many of them didn't go down so well. Live at the Budokan, which was meant for a Japanese release only, is loved by some fans, loathed by others, with his kind of tossed off versions of Mr. Tambourine Man and Blowing in the Wind. Of course, Bob Dylan had employed quite a big band for this tour, which many felt kind of swamped the material. But a lot of that changed when the tour moved to America, as he started playing a lot of tracks off his Street Legal album. Tracks that actually suited a more big band arrangement, I think. I mean, he started playing tracks like Senior Tales of Yankee Power, We Better Talk This Over, and Changing of the Guard. And with the exception of Senior, most of these recordings have never seen the light of day since he played them on this tour. Number 4 is Bruce Springsteen live at the Roxy Theatre in 1978. Of course, all these recordings have now been made officially available, but this was Springsteen and the E Street Band, very much at the top of their game, with the bursts of energy and power just amplified by the rather intimate venue, I think, combined with Bruce's stage presence and rapport with the crowd. It all makes for an electrifying experience. And the band sound absolutely remarkable. This has got to be one of the best bootlegs I've ever owned. Number 3 is Led Zeppelin, Any Port in a Storm, live in Southampton, 1973. The thunder and hail of this band live is just overwhelming. And this is interesting that just before they did their large-scale American tour, which of course would throw up the footage needed for The Song Remains the Same, they played a few intimate venues in the UK just to warm up the old tonsils. Robert Plant is in full strut mode as he gets to show off his overstuffed trouserage to his baying minions. And the intimacy of these venues is what makes it so special. I think the band sound a little bit rusty, but that only adds to the charm. This has got to be certainly one of the best Led Zeppelin bootlegs ever. In fact, one of the best bootlegs ever, as Led Zeppelin clearly state why they are the gods of rock, in the words of Jack Black. Number 2 is Black Sabbath live in New Jersey, 1975. This is a remarkable bootleg. It's a soundboard recording as well. It's just absolutely fabulous. I've no idea if this has actually been officially released yet or not. But it's interesting, it was actually recorded by the King Biscuit Flower Hour with a view to releasing it as a live album. Apparently it was filed away in the King Biscuit annals. It was later discovered many years later with written on the tin, "Not good enough." But this is just wonderful because we get the band running through songs like Killing Yourself to Live and Hole in the Sky, as well as those Sabbath favourites, of course. And you really do get an impression of the sort of volume this band must have been playing at, as even the recording itself sort of loosens your fillings. This is a piece of Sabbath history that I think everybody should own. And number 1 is the Rolling Stones live in Leeds in 1971. This has got to be one of the best live bootlegs ever. Get Your Leeds Lungs Out, I think it was called. It's a soundboard recording, of course, of the greatest lineup of this band ever, with Jagger all lips and arse, pouting his way through these numbers. And I still get chills when he announces Bitch as a new number. This is classic rock history being forged. This has got to be one of the definitive live Stones documents. I mean, I even prefer it to Get Your Yah-Yahs Out, and that really is saying something. And Keith Richards and Mick Taylor prove why this is the best lineup ever on Midnight Rambler, as a duo spins and weaves guitar lines and trades off solos, turning a kind of sinister bluesy number into a good old rowdy rave-up. And as promised at the start of this video, here's a few honourable mentions. The first one is Pink Floyd's Atom Heart Mother Goes on the Road. This is a wonderful, wonderful recording of the Floyd live at the Paris Theatre in 1971. It has been officially released on the early years box set, but they've kind of ruined it with the mix, I think, on that box set. I mean, Gilmour's guitar in Fat Old Son are just way, way too low. I much prefer the original bootleg recording I had of this. Next one is Yes, A Solid Time of Change, live at Duke University Durham in the United States, 1972. Wonderful recording, which has since been made available by the band themselves in that little box set of all the concerts they recorded for the live album. One of my favourites was The Who, Who's Zoo. It was just a tremendous collection of those rare early recordings, all available in one place. So there you are, that's the 10 best classic rock bootlegs in my opinion. What are your favourites? Please leave your comments below. Other than that, I'll leave you with my closing salvo, which is hope you're well, staying safe, and of course that you keep listening.